You guys can't see me, but we're here. We're watching the Marvels. I'm gonna come with a review pretty soon. We're in the trailers right now. Oh my god, it's so loud. We're in the trailers right now. But okay, we'll be out soon. Bye. The thing that I use, it's Kiehl's lip balm, cranberry. It's probably backwards, but it's cranberry, so my lips taste delicious. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel yet again. I know it's the back-to-back thing. It's a back-to-back thing. It's a back-to-back type thing because I just finished doing the Loki review and now I'm jumping right on into the Marvels. So let's get into it. This is going to be the Marvels review. Spoilers. Somewhat spoilers. And I mean, I feel like it's just me talking about it in general. I'm not going to really go into detail like scene by scene. But yeah, we'll just bounce around a little bit. So mild spoilers if you don't want to hear anything about it. If you do plan on seeing it, even though I'm pretty sure you don't. But yeah, so let's get into it. So the Marvels, let's just say this. This movie did not feel like it was a... I feel like this is the type of movie that should have happened, let's say, I guess, after. Because, okay, so let me get this in there. So the first Captain Marvel, right? Its placement was weird because how are you going to have Infinity War happen and then you're going to send out this pager to call in Captain Marvel and everything like that? Honestly, I think that whole thing where they kind of told an origin story about Carol Danvers, Captain Marvel, where she's coming from and yeah, just her origin story, I feel like was already misplaced because for the most part, we already knew who Captain Marvel was, I would say. I feel like if they would have done it differently, like if this movie was to take place in Captain Marvel 1's spot, it would have served better. Because it could have been like, oh, she was out in space, she was doing something else while Infinity War was happening, almost like an Ant-Man and the Wasp. Oh, here's the reason why Ant-Man wasn't there for the Battle of Infinity War. He was dealing with his own thing with ghosts and those things over there in San Francisco. But the fact that we got an origin story for that middle gap between Infinity War and Endgame, I feel like an origin story did not suit well. But if it was in this type of format of like, okay, this is present time, thing that's going on with timelines and stuff like that, this would have served. And I feel like this movie probably would have segued better into the multiverse saga than anything, if I'm being completely honest. I feel like this movie would have served better if that was the thing, because it's like, yeah, you're going to try to end off the Infinity Saga by introducing Captain Marvel, showing that there's another big threat going on in terms of like breaking the timeline, breaking space, and things like that. And that could have been a nice introduction to like, oh, shoot, so we're going to be jumping into the multiverse stuff right after the Infinity Saga, after that ended. But, you know, that is what it was for that time. Now, in terms of this movie felt very much filler. It had a very filler vibe to it. Of course, it wasn't really weighted all that much. It was an entertaining watch. I will say that I was entertained. I had fun with this movie. I went to go see it with the bestie, but I was definitely entertained and I had fun watching this movie. Like, my gripes though is that they basically recycled a villain. They just took Ronan and made him female. And it was, yeah, just very light. It wasn't so like weighted in terms of like weighted. By weighted, I mean like it felt like it didn't really serve a purpose for the bigger story that's being told. That's what I'm getting at. And for the most part, I do like Captain Marvel. I like Captain Marvel in the comics and things like that. And honestly, I wasn't really a huge fan of the first Captain Marvel movie. I liked it to an extent, but it just wasn't what Captain Marvel was to me. And in this movie, I feel like they represented Captain Marvel or Carol Danvers the way that I would have wanted. Like, they showed off her true power. They showed off her, like, the powers, the moves and stuff like that was really fun to watch in this movie. Like, the action sequences and things like that. Like, the use of her powers was done well in this movie, I think. The team, I like the aspect. I like the characters. Let's say that. I did like the characters. I like Maria Rambeau. I mean, not Maria. I like Monica. Monica Rambeau. Loved Miss Marvel. Loved Captain Marvel. I thought that they worked well together. The synergy on screen, I thought, worked very nicely. Like I said, it felt very filler. It wasn't anything too crazy. It was just the whole synopsis of linking Miss Marvel's bracelets together. So, and finding that's what female Ronin wanted. I don't even remember the villain's name, but that's what female Ronin wanted. Female Ronin wanted the other wristband thing so that she could take what Captain Marvel stole from them, which was the sun. And I kind of thought that was a cool take on this whole entire thing too. So Captain Marvel always thought that the Supreme Intelligence was, the main problem to the Kree, and getting rid of that would kind of help the Kree. But instead, it did the reverse. It did the opposite. It destroyed the Kree because it destroyed the solar system and things like that. And that's why they gave her the name the Destroyer or something like that. So she's a villain in the Kree's eyes, and they did a whole entire segment with that. Well, not a whole entire, but they did a little scene where she kind of infiltrated the Hala and destroyed the Supreme Intelligence and made her look like the villain, and that was pretty cool. I really did like that scene. But yeah, so by the time the movie, it was quick. It really did feel like it was a very quick, like, oh my God, wrap up. But it had its parts where it kind of took me out, and I was just like, all right, like, seriously, what's going on here? Like, this is not real. Like, what's happening here? But yeah, so they get connected because Miss Marvel's wearing the wristband that she's wearing, so they're already connected with that whole entire space thing. Captain Marvel and Monica Rambeau went to go and touch this space hole or something, and then that's how they all kind of got connected. So anytime they use their powers, they start switching around, swapping places with each other, and it was a bit quirky and giddy, but it served, I think, its purpose, I guess, because of course you can't just have Captain Marvel at her full power, because they don't. I feel like they don't know how to manage characters that are overpowered. Even though I feel like there's plenty of ways to deal with characters that are overpowered. You just give them somebody that they can fight on the same level as them. You don't need to kind of numb them down to try to make it for the movie. So that's just me. I don't really get it, but that's just my thought process. But they had this scene where Captain Marvel was a princess, and in this world, the way they communicate is with song. And now I know a lot of people didn't like that, but for me, I thought it was very funny. I enjoyed it. I thought the jokes were really funny in this. Like, the jokes in this movie was pretty funny. And the whole singing thing, like they're on Broadway, the musical or something like that, I thought that was cute and funny. Like, I really did. Even though, a lot of people are annoyed with it, but I thought that was a cute little thing that they threw in the movie. And the CGI, I thought, looked really good for my thought process throughout the whole movie, except for the end. That was the only questionable part when it came to the CGI. I was like, okay, I could tell. I could tell that this is definitely need a little bit more work, but it didn't throw me out. Of course, the CGI never really throws me out unless it's really like that bad. If it's that bad, I mean, I'd probably go on a rant about it, but it wasn't that bad. But you were able to tell, like, if that's something that you care about, then that was there towards the end. And the way that it ended, I mean, it was pretty interesting. interesting. I didn't think they were going to go this route, but I'm sure. So this is spoiler warning right now because I'm going to talk about the end. And they had Monica Rambeau disappear on the other end of that broken space thing. And so as of right now, Captain Marvel and Miss Marvel think that she's dead. And I already knew, I'm like, she's in another universe, but what universe is she in? And of course, as the movie's wrapping up, you have Miss Marvel trying to start up the Kid Avengers or the Next Avengers initiative, which I thought was really cool. I really like that scene. I am excited to see Kate Bishop, Haley Steinfeld, on screen again. I love her as an actress and I love her as Kate Bishop. So I'm excited to see her again on the screen, and that's who they showed at the end of the movie. So I'm ready for that whenever they are ready to come out with that. Hopefully it's good, but I'm looking forward to that. And Miss Marvel definitely was a big highlight in the film. Let me say that first too. Miss Marvel was a highlight. She really did her thing. She was a really fun character to watch on screen, and I just think that yes, she's definitely happy to be there, and she's a good character to have in the MCU at the moment, along with Kate Bishop and Shang-Chi. Now, they're wrapping everything up there, and then, of course, the after-credit scene. That's where I was getting at with Monica. She turns out to be in Professor the X-Men home, like down in the med bay. So they introduced the X-Men, and we got to see Beast. So I didn't think that we were going to see any X-Men characters for a while, maybe. But the fact that they were already kind of in it and there, that was like, wow. So X-Men is here. Like, they're here, but I guess they're just trying to figure out how to really implement them into the MCU. But I guess they just kind of wanted to tell us, like, yeah, no, the X-Men, we got them. They're here, but we're just making a plan. But I guess they already have a plan, which is why Monica is now stuck there, and I guess she has to find a way to get out, and whatever the case may be, but we will see. I'm excited to see where that goes. And the Beast, he's looked better. He was, I think, more CGI than practical, but that's besides the point. I'm just getting at the point of Beast is there, and that was a really cool little thing that they threw in there at the after-credit scene, or the post-credit scene, mid-credit scene. One of the after-credit scenes, but that was there, and that was really cool. For the most part, the villain was just trying to open up holes, trying to take the sun, take water, and take different resources that her planet needed to survive and things like that from Captain Marvel's, like, places of, like, it was just them trying to get revenge, but also trying to fix their planet at the same time. And I was like, okay, I get it, but at the same time, I feel like that could have been something, deeper or better, and just a change of villain or something like that. I feel like they could have done better with that. But it definitely was fun. I enjoyed it. And I would rate it, I honestly would give this movie a 7. The movie gets a 7 from me because, like I said, I was thoroughly entertained throughout the whole movie from beginning to end. The CGI wasn't bad. It was more filler than anything. I took it as it was. I took the movie for what it was. I didn't take the movie for what it could have been. I took what I was given. So I just didn't like that they reused the villain. I didn't like the whole entire quirky, everybody swap places to kind of numb down Captain Marvel's power. But for story's sake, I thought that the story was there. There was a story. Was it a good story or a great story? No, not so much, but there was a story. And I love the action sequences were really cool. I really enjoyed the action sequences, especially the one where Captain Marvel was trying to fly off into space to get to one of the Skrull planets, which also makes no sense with the mix-up with Secret Invasion and this movie. I have no idea the timeline of where these movies are taking place or what's going on. I'm so confused when it comes to that. But that's besides the point. We can save that for another time. She was flying off to the Skrull homeworld, and she teleported with Miss Marvel, and she ended up being there like super quick, and it was like she flew through space, like really snip, snip, snap. And I was just like, wow. So she got there really, that was just a really cool thing. Like, I liked it. I liked the moments that they've had together, and at least the three characters and things like that. I know a lot of people kind of want Brie Larson as Captain Marvel to kind of stop, but I like this version of Captain Marvel with Brie Larson in the picture. I also didn't really like the last outfit. It was a little dark. I liked the beginning outfit for Captain Marvel that they had on her before they changed it to the one at the end, which was a bit darker. But that's another thing, a side point. But yeah, let me know what you guys thought of the Marvels. Down in the comments below. Did you enjoy it? What would you rate it? If you like what I had to say, of course, leave a like. And if you like me, remember to subscribe. And until then, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.